Motion to come out of executive session.
All those in favor? All right, back in full session. Action items, financial statements. Chris?
The motion to approve the monthly financial.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. It's Chris Dan. Approval of healthy food certification.
I'd like to make a motion to approve healthy food certification.
Second by Ellen. Discussion? Yes.
Who is going to administer this program? Is there going to be someone at every building that's going to take on the responsibility of this?
We contract with Education Connection for our food service, and through our current contract, they have a manager at every building. So between the food service director and each manager at each building and myself, that's how it'll be coordinated.
But what about all the other groups, not just the one? Is the principal going to have to oversee
Who's gonna monitor
each
this?
site,
Is that what you're saying?
all this, monitor all of this?
Your principal is your health coordinator.
Yeah. Pardon?
No.
Why not? Will there have to be a
Why not? For
stipend?
me, for me, the same reason why I don't want principals answering telephones. The secretarial job I really would not like to see all the principals spending their time looking at ingredients and what people are bringing in out of the
I-
field.
You mean for fundraisers? You mean for fundraisers?
Are we in a discussion phase right now? Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, we are, okay.
Yep.
You mean for fundraisers?
Well,
Is that-
any other group,
Anything.
fundraisers, anything that has to become an exemption.
Well, can't we just do a blanket exemption? Or do we have to do an exemption every single time?
One by one.
You do?
Yeah, but, you know, like any program that's progressive and forward-thinking, the first year is the hardest. What we do today becomes past practice tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So the idea is to do it correctly today, and we improve our past practice tomorrow, you know? And so,
We
you
put a
know,
process
people
in.
will get, people will get the idea. No, we know we can't do this is gonna get shot down. No, we can't do that, it's gonna get, and eventually people will just get in step, you know?
Would the
It's-
exemptions be able to go under the consent agenda so that it's not something that recurringly has to be debated about whether they can do a bake sale?
Well, I mean, I would assume if you're doing the same fundraiser year after year.
Yeah. Right,
No.
so we can streamline the process at our level if it's
Yes.
approved anyway.
I'm
Okay.
sure, in many ways it's streamlined.
Okay.
So, St. Jude bake sale, we just talked about, raised $8,000.
Yeah.
Are we saying as a board that we want to adopt a healthy food certification, but we're still going to allow bake sales and we're still going to allow? I guess I'm trying to figure out what the point of this is. Either we're saying we want a healthy food certification and we want our kids to eat healthier,
Yeah.
and we're not going to exempt any of these things, or are we going to adopt this to say we're healthy food certification and then allow all these things to continue in school?
That would be the policy. So the policy you introduce a little at a time, so that
So we're
you don't have mass.
So we're voting on to adopt something when we don't have a policy?
No, the
No,
healthy
no, no,
food
no.
certificate, the cafeterias right now in Ed Connection have to abide by the healthy food initiative in serving our meals. So everything that's currently served, the things that would change is the vending machine that I just got this at. It's in the faculty lounge, but we couldn't have a vending machine with sugary drinks in a student area. But your provided foods that you get at a hot lunch are already at this standard. They have to be by law. All that they're saying is, what we're saying is we're going to get $42,000, we're gonna be a better, healthier community. But then, yes, we have the right to exempt and do whatever we want.
So it's saying that students can't deliver fundraisers of food, but can parents pick up fundraisers of food?
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
But can they pick it up at the school?
Yes.
Absolutely.
A parent can.
Yes.
But this
I think it was the
changes
point was
center
that
of
student can't take it from school to
It does.
someone else.
Correct.
It changes the center of gravity from the default position is we're gonna attempt to offer healthy choices, and we'll make exceptions for the non-healthy.
Next
As-
year
as
at
opposed
budget,
to
we'll
what-
be getting a request for people to monitor these programs, so.
And we say no.
We say, we don't have the option
Of course,
once
we'll
we
find an
implement
option.
it.
We'll
Same
find a
with all the
solution to
other
that.
mandates, Paul. This is gonna turn into one of those other mandates where we're gonna be funding this going forward.
I
Funding
don't
the
see it.
supervision of it is what she's.
I don't see it. We have rampant health issues, I think, once, it's parallel to, it's very much not the same, but it's parallel to the Board of Education, the board, not the administration, not our president, the Board of Education has to stamp its will on how we conduct our schools. And I think a policy that strongly discourages the kind of behaviors and that we've seen in the press over the last couple of months is a positive thing. That strongly encourages a focus on healthy life choices as opposed to not healthy is a very positive thing. And we make that the new starting point.
You're
And
very
then we'll do
positive.
it.
You're very positive.
I have no idea
That's
where it's coming
unusual.
from. Yes, I know. It's lack of sleep. I'll be back to my old self
Yeah.
next week.
The phrase "stamp our will" bothers me, because that's exactly what I see in this. I mean, somebody has made this decision, and now we are being asked to become the food and fitness police. And Fiona said it at the last meeting, the last, I think, regular meeting, that she really wasn't interested, and I agree, in telling parents what's in the best interest of their kids. Another thing that bothers me about this is, and I followed those links onto the state website. This has been going back to 2008, and I don't know why we haven't joined already. I'd be very interested in the reason that we didn't jump on the bandwagon right away, because in fact, 70% of the eligible systems, the eligible entities are in it. 30% aren't, so there's something in it for the 30%. And the idea that Torrington is the largest of the entities, not in it aside from Stanford, no, Greenwich isn't in it, Wallingford isn't in it, both of them are bigger than us, and those are the only ones, those are the ones I checked tonight. I don't know about the others. But I'm not sure I like being recruited to be a member of the Food and Fitness Police, or the school board being recruited for that role. I don't know. People can make their own decisions, parents can make their own decisions.
But yeah, we
about
make
what
those
their
value
kids-
judgments all the time with our school, with the kids in our school. We do it all the time. The very principle of you have, once those kids are in our school system, we have the right to tell them how to dress. Right? Well, there's certain codes of conduct we do. We have a code of conduct. You conduct yourself in a certain way. You will conduct yourself in a certain way, you know?
Meter goes
Those are-
up every time you say
The
something.
parents, yeah, you turn your kids over to us, and we are assumed to have a consistently, ethical approach to how we're going to take care of your kids within this protected environment. And at the foremost consideration is what is, as 10 elected officials, what is, in general, the best interest of the kids when they're within this environment. And it's clearly proven. I mean, come on, Vinny, you did a great job on this thing. Look at this stuff. The evidence is overwhelming. Some of this stuff is to kids. And I'm sorry, but parents don't have the right to give their kids cigarettes to bring into school. They don't have the right to do, to let them bring in, I've been in an expulsion hearing where we threw out kids for a tiny little pocket knife. They don't have the right to have that, sorry. You think it's all right, we don't, we win, we're the Board of Education. And the school's better off for that.
If this is so good, why isn't it self-evident? Why do we have to impose it on people? Why aren't people making their own kids do this? Why aren't they refusing to let their kids eat cupcakes?
I think the point, John, is that we're having to serve in loco parentis, nice Latin phrase, right?
Very good.
And we have to serve in loco parentis as the best example of a parent. and we're being trusted with them, we have to do it. And this is it's a decent start.
And when we feed them our school lunches, we do that, right? We already comply.
Yes.
This is, well, I'm not talking about palatability, I'm talking about quote health.
With this healthy food certification, we already do it.
Right. Well, yeah,
We
well
do.
then why do we have to do it in time?
We don't already.
We do it for our meal.
Right,
That
that's what I
gets-
said, we do
It's the
that.
à la carte items that are gonna start getting pulled,
It's the muffin, cookie, and juice thing. that you
which is
do.
more at the
Food
secondary
police.
level
It's
than
food
the elementary,
police.
but it's
Right.
those items. Yeah.
But we lead by example. We can get,
Applause for you.
we can get the kids to be healthier, which will trickle to the parents.
Or will we just make the kids? Or will it just make the kids more resentful that they can't have sort of a normal, I mean, they go home and they have probably a very unhealthy snack. In fact, if you read the Southwest school, we only got the one from Southwest. These people are concerned their kids eat too much, and yet they're the ones who give it to their kids. I mean, it's not unhealthy for a normally healthy kid to have these snacks that we want to make verboten.
But this healthy food certification isn't regulating what those students bring into school for themselves.
No, it's not, but it's regulating what's available to them if they don't bring something in for themselves, because, and why would, I mean, our parents, do we not trust parents? Are parents not bright enough? Are parents not well educated enough to have their kids make healthy choices in school, or what? What's our concern here?
And I would ask anyone to look at a child who's never given a cookie that goes to a friend's house and eats 2 trays of cookies because, yeah. That's true. Yeah.
I'm ultimately going to vote for it for no other reason than we're getting more money. I think it's ridiculous that we have to police this. I do. I think it starts at home. I don't think we can solve the problem by the time kids get to high school by saying you can't have cookies. I don't think that's going, your eating habits by the time you're in high school are pretty well formed. It just bothers me to have this concept as a society that you can somehow teach moderation by depriving the child of the choice. I don't think that's, but we need money and we get 41 grand, so. There you go.
Andrew, do you have anything?
This is a very hard choice because I do not agree with the fact that you shouldn't have the choice. I feel better about the policy or the certification if it was a case of the options expanded to include healthier choices, but you should still have the choice in the end. As an adult, you have to have a choice.
You do.
Yeah, that is what this
You
does.
don't have a choice.
But to get the certification, we have to replace the choices that are available.
No. Nope.
At
So-
our lunchroom, yes, we do. In
Yes.
the lunchroom, yes, we do. He's talking
So-
about the vending machines, the fact that we
Again,
have
if I-
tables both at the middle and high school, I'm sorry,
Oh.
that sell muffins, cookies, chips. We have.
Have that anymore. No, we should not have that.
We just heard kids grab muffins at breakfast.
We just heard that they grabbed it. We were, the people presenting it themselves said that.
We don't sell cookies.
The middle school doesn't have
I mean,
a.
as long as the exemptions are in there that can allow
My kids
parents
went
to
through
bring
there,
in
they had it.
cupcakes for somebody's birthday, to allow a PTO to bring in pizzas for the kids and whatnot. Fine, we can
They're
start,
really not healthy.
we can start policing
We're
them and
getting
tell them they
toward
can't drink orange juice because it has too much sugar in it, or Ocean Spray cranberry juice because it has almost as much sugar as a can of Coke, but it's unhealthy. So, I don't like it, but I'll,
Today it's unhealthy, you know, if you
Yeah.
look up salt is bad, you get X hits. You look up salt is good, you get X hits, you know?
during the 80s, it was a case of you drink raw eggs to be healthy.
Yeah.
Now it's a case of you drink raw eggs, you get salmonella poisoning. Wait 20 years, you'll get another set.
It'll be mandated.
Yeah,
by the school district.
exactly.
My wife ran the school lunch program in Winston. In fact, that was a job she had when she died. And she just was so frustrated by the way she tried to get healthy food into kids, and they would throw the healthy stuff away. So they had to sneak healthy stuff in. And I don't know how creative we are about doing that, but you know, the idea was that if all you offered them was carrots, they'd throw the carrots away. You know, choices, I think choices are important. I don't think it's up to us to tell kids what to eat or tell parents what's gonna be available for their kids.
But you can educate them as to what would be healthier and
Then let's
better
do
for their
that.
bodies.
Then let's do that.
And that's
then
what we're
give the
trying to
choice.
do, and this would be
Right.
the first
But
step.
let's give them the choice. In the meantime, let's give
We're
them
not
the
taking the choice away. The
Well,
choice
yeah,
is
we're
still
gonna have
gonna
to
be
throw
there.
away these things that kids grab on their way into school, right? We just heard that. We heard it 7 o'clock.
Did not hear that.
Yes, I did.
That's misconstrued.
I heard,
The teacher that spoke at the beginning said that he sees the kids come into the school and they have cinnamon rolls and muffins, and, which are not on the healthy foods.
please don't tell me what I heard. He said it, I heard it.
That was the discussion. Okay.
Since it appears that the majority of the board is gonna go for this, are we going to be tracking the amount of time that is spent on this? Because the more time we're making these principals do things other than what we're obligated to do, which is educate kids, the less effective they're gonna be in the buildings. So,
My feeling is that from a management perspective, you tell them what needs to be done, and they figure out a way to get it done. Period.
so tie their hands behind their back and
Have
expect
no,
them to get
no,
this
you have
done.
not a proper management scheme. The proper management scheme says if you have to get this much work done with the same amount of administrators, you get it done, you know? See you next week. You want that job, you get it done. You figure out a way. You pay administrators to be efficient, and if you put more work on their plate, they have to become more efficient. That's what management is. I'm sorry, that's my experience.
And the higher managers, which are the people at this table, are, what do we want our building administrators spending their time on?
We want them to be
Not
successful,
pushing food.
and we want them to be successful there, we want them to be successful in curriculum, we want them to be successful in behavioral issues.
And you and I are gonna disagree, but what I'm saying is, I want to know how much time this takes from board members,
Mhm.
for all these little exceptions we're gonna have to apply, and how much time in the buildings, by the administration, by the teachers, this takes us, so that next year when we look at this again, we see, did it actually do any good? Did it not do any good? Did the kids leave school and eat a bag of Doritos?
We don't know.
Did the kids that had to bring in carrot sticks for their birthday party that no one wanted to celebrate? I mean, if
At
we're
least
gonna
those
do
kids-
this, let's
you know,
look at the
At least
outcome
those
of
kids
it.
will leave the school, at least those kids will leave the school, and if they go and grab that bag of Doritos, something in the back of their head will say, you know, this is basically a dumb choice, but I really want it. But at least they're thinking, this is a dumb choice, but at least I want it. At this point, all we're doing is enabling them to think, it's all good. And we have the most obese, overweight, diabetic-prone generation of kids in history. And this is some structured, reasonable, intelligent groups to
Let's
get
move this
handled.
to a vote.
We don't have to vote on this tonight, by the way. This doesn't have to
May
go
is
until
our
July.
deadline. May is our deadline.
It says July on the website.
Yeah, but it has to be the May, because it has to be into the state
Right.
for June to be effective July.
Because July's the new year.
It's gotta be done in May.
Right,
We
so.
already made a motion to accept this.
Well, it's on an action item, and
We
it's
can
up,
table it, if we want.
you can make a motion to table it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I make a motion, we table this till the next meeting.
I'll second that.
We already had a motion on the table.
Tabling takes precedence in the order. of
Yeah.
motions, so.
Yeah, this-
So-
well, we're gonna vote on the tabling motion, and then we're gonna go back and vote. If it doesn't get tabled, we're gonna go back and vote on the other one. I'm
By
just
then,
writing
we
down
will
the
have
date.
heard the wellness, policy committee's discussing the wellness programs, which second read, isn't it?
First,
Wellness
oh,
policy.
On policy, at policy.
table.
So by the next meeting, we will have at least.
Any discussion on tabling the motion, or can we just go to vote on it? All right, all those in favor of tabling the motion? Unanimous. All those opposed to tabling the motion? So, yeah, all right. Back to the original. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the healthy food certification? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All those opposed? Andrew, John, Fiona. Okay, it passes. The noes were Andrew, John, Fiona. And Mr. Okay, I need a motion to extend past 10 o'clock.
So moved. Second.
Carl, seconded by Chris.
Yeah.
We're going to extend for, I lost my clock. We'll go for 10:30. All those in favor of extending the meeting till 10:30? Opposed?
Always.
Good. All-Star Transportation Contract, we need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Dan, second by Carl. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? All opposed? Mr. Nargi is opposed. Local 1579, Council 4, Nurses Contract, motion to approve.
So moved.
Daniel, second. Fiona. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Andrew. Local 1579, Council 4, agreement regarding para-educator differential pay.
Motion to
Motion
approve.
by Dan, second by Chris. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Andrew? Nays? Consent agenda. Before we get into the consent agenda, I did follow up, Mr. Nargi asked me to reach out to Shipman and Goodwin to get a protocol for this. I received another paragraph that was exactly identical to the paragraph we got in January, which does not give us a protocol. The opinion of Shipman and Goodwin is we need to write a protocol and submit it to them, and they will tell us whether it is approved or not. I was going to take the liberty of drafting one and handing it to the policy committee because it would have to become part of our bylaws, let them run it up through Shipman and Goodwin, come back, and then we'll have an actual protocol for consent. So I don't have any further information for you other than what we had in January, because you sent me the exact same thing.
Which is, the board member can ask for it to be
You
removed.
can ask for one to be removed. Can I get a motion for the consent agenda? Chris, second. John. Discussion. Oh,
Is the non-renewal of non-tenure certified staff part of the consent agenda?
yes.
And I have a question, not on a specific person, but are these non-renewal of non-tenured certified staff due to possible budget cuts by the city, rather than we're just not wanting to non-renew all these teachers?
Could I just give a quick
Absolutely.
explanation? It's teacher tenure law that we need to identify, let teachers know by May 1st, non-tenured teachers by May 1st, whether or not they're guaranteed a contract next year. If we let May 1st go by, and we find out we have to cut the budget further, we cannot lay off non-tenured teachers unless we've been notified. So we have a technicality here where we have to put them on the docket. Cheryl and I sat, we identified a group of people that would likely be discussed, any number of them, if we had to cut the budget. If we don't do this, we wouldn't have that option at all.
Because I think that's where everything got out, that we were
Yeah.
laying off 18 elementary teachers.
No, no, that's not our goal. Obviously, the board has spoken loud and clear that they don't want to see cuts, but we have no other place to go if we're asked to cut further.
And I just want to say, Bill went out to every single teacher, handed them the legal document that we had to, and explained in detail to every teacher the process. So it was, and it's a lousy job to do, and he did it, and thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda? Opposed? Opposed is Fiona. I would like to make a motion, having seen the appointments and resignations, to add an action item G. We'll need a 2/3 majority to do this. The motion would be to add is it resignation or retirement of Mr. William
Resignation
Johnson?
for the purpose of retirement.
Of Mr. William Jocelyn. He was supposed to be on the list, but did not make the list. Can I get a second for that motion?
I'll give you a second.
Dan. All those in favor of adding the motion, signify by aye. All opposed to adding, it was unanimous to add it. Time well served.
Thank you.
So now I need a motion to accept the resignation of Mr. Johnson.
So moved.
We accept with regret.
Yes, accept by Dan, regret second by John.
If we both
Discussion.
notice, you still have to show up no matter what.
Hey, Dan,
Is that how this all works?
I don't know, that would be unprecedented.
I think so.
All those,
Bill,
all those in favor?
just a question, that's a resignation effective when?
July 1st.
June
30th. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Sorry, Bill. Well, let you.
Thank you.
How many years, Paul?
34.
Okay, comments for the good of the order. John?
Concert tomorrow night,
Yes.
here, 7 o'clock.
Carl, none? That's it. Chris?
None.
Ellen? Fiona?
Just quickly, project graduation is running into some trouble this year financially, so if anyone knows anyone that would like to make any donations to project graduation, I think keeps the seniors safe on graduation night, so the community will support it.
Andrew?
Two questions. One, on the copiers, you said the copiers get fixed in 24 hours. Are copiers fixed in 24 hours? Have they been fixed? Well, they've got fixed within that 24-hour period from the time they were notified that they weren't working.
That's our contract.
So they
Do you
did.
know of something that I don't know of?
Well, I'm just asking for the record, so they were fixed in
Yes.
24 hours. Second question is, I learned tonight that teacher certification is not as black and white as the statute says. So the next question is there a gray area as well as hiring? The statute says teachers and staff are supposed to have a police background check, and is there a gray area there as well? So we've done all our police background checks on all our employees before we hired them. The paperwork was done.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
fingerprinted, everything.
Dan?
Out of curiosity, is it possible to give an update on the status of technology's RFP from last month?
The technology RFP went out. It came back in with an insufficient number of bidders, and it's been determined that it's kind of fallen apart. We're looking to modify the RFP, and frankly, we'd like to ask for your assistance in doing that with your technical expertise.
I would be happy to assist in any way I can. Nobody likes me, are you kidding me?
Well,
Only the Board of Finance, what time is the meeting? What time?
5
While we on first thing?
Yes,
we're the only.
yes, we are the only.
All right, that's it.
three things. Well, first, Paul, in response to your question about how much we received from the arts grant,
Yeah.
we share it with the after-school arts program out of Washington Depot, and they have a collaborative. They've had one for about 5 years now with Forbes School, and the total amount is about $4,100.
The grant was like $620,000, right?
That was though, for what we got in the northwest corner, it was a lot less.
Oh, that was for statewide? That was
Yeah.
state, oh, okay, the way I read it.
Yeah,
the
was
paper
it? No, no.
That was my concern.
I
was thinking,
do
my
have,
God.
and I kept the
Okay,
press
okay,
release.
fine.
Okay, and the other thing I just wanted, you had asked a question about the athletic department, and where they are, what they're doing.
Yeah, I think that's what Ken was holding up and saying for the next meeting.
Okay, yeah, but I do have it here tonight if you'd like to see them, okay?
Oh, you have to take that home, is that what you're saying, the actual, as opposed to kind of?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, it's moving forward, and
Yes,
there's
it is.
a report out to the board, what's the process for it? Is it-
They're hoping to have it done by May,
Right,
by our May meeting, and be able to give us something before they have to, shut down for the year and get
For
into
the
next
full
year.
board, it'll come before the full
Yeah.
board?
Yeah,
For
he's gonna-
consideration, I don't know if it needs approval, but
because
I
whatever.
just want to keep this on.
It
Yeah,
really
whatever
just
they're
needs an
putting-
FYI, I don't think we approve we do approve the school handbooks,
Yes.
so it would come to us for approval.
All right.
So we'll try to get a first read in May and a second read in June.
I don't know about the rest of it, I mean, I just think we need, we need to have some
uh,
definitive progress on this whole thing, and I think the community requires it of us.
I think you'll be very pleased to
Okay.
see what the
Good.
athletic department, the coaches,
Fantastic.
there's parents, it's a great committee.
Great.
And what they're working towards.
Thank you.
And then one last thing is, on May 21st, here at Torrington High School, the Little Theater, and then they'll break out, it will be a community conversation, and it's a collaborative effort with several community organizations, including the mayor's office, our school system, the police department, New Opportunities, Torrington Early Childhood Collaborative, Susan B. Anthony, the Office of Civil Rights, Center for Youth and Families, the Charlotte Hungerford Hospital, and the United Way. And the focus will be health, safety, and welfare of our youth. And the topic, it'll be a panel discussion first with each panel member discussing for 10 to 15 minutes tops a specific area, and then we'll have breakout sessions, so members of the audience can then decide which area they want to go to, further listen to a presentation, and then ask questions. But the topics right now are parenting the adolescent child, rights of students going from juvenile to adult court, legal issues surrounding cyberbullying, that's with the Office of Civil Rights, ACLU, not ACLU, but the press, and just their responsibility in presenting information to the public, when it's with juveniles and adults. Healthy relationships, Susan B. Anthony, legal issues surrounding sexual assault, and the whole process of complaint to arrest, and what happens, in the investigation. And so we have Judge Gill, we have, okay, and we have a great lineup of presenters.
We have our last,
Knowledgeable.
well, we have our last planning meeting for that will be May 1st, so right now it is scheduled for the 21st, and we're hoping that it sticks. It's going to be 6:15 to 8:30 here is the tentative schedule. But May 1st, when, the committee that's organizing it is myself, Cheryl, the mayor, the chief of police, and Barbara Spiegel from Susan B.
And Maria Gonzalez from New Opportunities.
So we think we've got it all nailed down, but it should be all finalized on the first, that all the speakers can make it in that time frame. Okay, committee reports, personnel.
Been a very active couple of months, but I'm pleased to report that things are going in a very positive direction with all staff attendance being, considering a downcrease month over month versus last year, so we're doing well there. We did take the last committee report and accept what it takes to stay in the district and what it takes to choose not to stay in the district. Among those items that were listed for all staff members is following the rules of the Board of Education. So any rules or policies that we have are terminable offenses for any staff members within the district, as well as anybody who does not document those incidents. So we know what we are doing and we know the direction we're following, and thus far I'm pleased to say it's a positive report thus far.
Thank you. Policy Committee.
Our next meeting is next Wednesday. We're going to go over graduation requirements as they pertain to online learning, bullying policy, and wellness.
Thank you. Grievance.
So scheduled for the next couple of weeks, so.
Makes sense. School improvement.
We're going to continue our discussion of CTE, and the goal was to continue looking at the high school curriculum and evaluating those classes. But look, if the rest of the board doesn't feel compelled to have this conversation, I don't want to waste our time and City Monica's time with this. I mean, my concern was looking at, you saw the list of courses, and maybe I'm the only one who feels strongly about this. But I just look at the kinds of cuts we make, and I know we have to serve all of our students, but there just seems some, we don't have enough language classes. And I just think there's that point at which the conversation has to be related to food. It's parallel to the food discussion, Chris and I were just making some general comments about his comment about Latin, being a fan of Latin. I'm a fan of Latin. My kids study Latin. I can tell you, they didn't necessarily they took it and they were amazingly surprised by how much they learned in that class. And I was amazingly surprised by what a huge improvement I saw literally in how they were writing, when their papers improved dramatically from studying Latin in high school. It is just a cornerstone core curriculum. And I'm thinking, does this board want to consider some of these courses that are now being taught in the high school? That if we eliminated those classes and therefore bought money to hire teachers in other areas, if that's a productive conversation that we should have. Does the rest of the board want to do that? Because if you don't, then we're just wasting our time, quite frankly. Right. And that's going to be, those are hard choices, and I completely know where this is headed and how this could play out, okay? So if people don't want to go down that path, please let me, as chairman of this committee, know now, because, Mr. Nard, you brought up a point of another area of consideration for this committee. But if the board wants to consider that kind of discussion and for us to bring it forward, then we'll do that. So, Mr. Chair,
I think the whole basis of your school improvement committee is to find a way to improve the course offerings and the curriculum in schools. I think that's kind of the cornerstone of that committee. So I think it's important for you to look at how can we move away from non-productive courses into progressive courses and move, the offerings forward and get more for the kids. That's kind of, I understood the definition of that subcommittee, so I would think that's definitely a goal.
And is the rest of the committee, are you guys in agreement? I mean, does the majority want this to continue? Yes? Yeah? Alan? Yes. Ellen? All right, then we will continue with it. Thank you.
Okay. Budget committee.
Nursing the hangover that's been the budget season.
Education Connection.
Ed Connection, nothing new since the last meeting, nothing big going on. Election of the new slate of executive officers of the board of directors over beginning of May, and that's the next important thing that will happen. But otherwise, all quiet on the Western Front.
Sticking with you, THS oversight.
All quiet on the Western Front.
wellness project?
I don't need to say anything about healthy food certification, other than thank you very much. It's gonna be a second read policy, as Ellen mentioned, next week.
Juvenile court update.
Still working.
Yes.
I just wanted to inform the board that we received a letter from DCF in the last week exonerating Torrington High School and Torrington Public School from any negligence in response to the hazing incident last fall.
Items for the upcoming agenda, financial statement, committee reports, school projects for referendum, Ford School solar project.
Field trips
Field trips? Okay.
for next year.
Board of Ed or close.
Out of state, out of country trips for the 13, 14 schools.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be the budget, the Board of Ed approved city budget, hopefully.
All right. BOE budget. And the student athletic policy handbook would be on there. Future meetings, policy May 1st, school improvement May 1st, budget May 8th, personnel May 8th, regular Board of Ed May 15th. Motion for adjournment.
So if,
I'm gonna give the second to Dan, but Carl got it.
Sure. Is that document
All those in favor?
available to look at?
Opposed?
The DCF document?
Thank you.
That's just the